Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, the DeVores Wild Fam. I am back again today with part 2, my second child, birth story, pregnancy story, my second C-section. Keep watching. Okay, so I definitely gotta make this video quicker than yesterday because it wouldn't let me upload the whole thing. That's why there was that weird random video yesterday. There was 2 videos yesterday. Okay, so my mom is gone. Took her to the airport this morning. I really enjoyed my time with her. We were all very sad to see her leave, but I'm glad she got to come. Okay, with that being said, hope she has a safe flight home. She should be in Salt Lake City right now. She had a layover. Okay, so my second child. We did Allison yesterday. I did my pregnancy and birth story with Allison. She's 15. And now I'll be talking about my pregnancy with Parker Andrew. That is my son. He is 14. So let's get straight into it. I've got my peppermint tea here. That's way too hot to drink. Okay, so where I left off yesterday is I had told my ex-husband that I wanted to live in California if he was going to be traveling 20 days out of the month. With 10 days off, I wanted to be near my family because we were living in Texas and I was totally alone out there. It was really hard. So I found out I was pregnant with Parker when I got to California. I had taken a test in Texas and it came out negative, and then like a month later I took another one. So I was already a month along when I for sure found out I was pregnant with him. Took a test, went to the doctor, got it confirmed, all that good stuff. Every time I'm pregnant, I get when hot water touches my face, like if I'm washing my face with warm water, it'll make my forehead right here ache. Not a headache, it just, I don't know how to explain it. It's just this weird thing. And I also get this feeling of very deep, peaceful contentment when I am pregnant. Like butterflies, but not nervous butterflies. It's just, that's all I know how to describe it. It's just this feeling of contentment. And I'm not saying that I'm not like content now, but it's just different. I just got a certain feeling when I was pregnant. So, pregnant with Parker. My ex-husband seemed excited at the time and was hoping that it was a boy. Okay, so like before I get totally into this, Parker's pregnancy and birth story get me very emotional. So if I keep stopping the video, like if it seems weird, it's because I'm gonna cry. I get very choked up. His birth story and pregnancy are hard to talk about. Like, I love it. Obviously, I love all my kids, but there was just a lot of sadness surrounding his birth. So, my ex, like I said before, we were always breaking up, getting back together again. We just weren't good for each other. And when we finally moved to California, we ended up renting a house with my mom. And I'm trying to make this short. I don't like to speak ill of people because I think he's not here to defend himself. I don't know, there's really no other side to the story except that I think he did have some mental problems happening that he never got addressed. I'm not saying that's an excuse. I'm just trying to give you kind of a backdrop. Okay, so moved in with my mom and he was working out of town, so he would work 20 days out of the month and he was supposed to come home for 10 days. And the first couple months, because we got there around March, and the first couple months he was coming home, and then all of a sudden he stopped coming back. He said he was working a ton of overtime. I'm not going to get too much into that part. He just wasn't really around anymore. So I was pretty much on my own, and I was back on Medi-Cal, the insurance I had with Allie, and I think because I was so depressed with everything happening between me and my ex, because it was getting bad, I just didn't care. I didn't research. I didn't try to find another doctor. I didn't want to hear anybody's advice. And even with all the drama that happened with Allie at that last hospital and that last doctor's office, I went back there. I don't know. All I can suck it up to is I was very depressed and I just didn't want to deal with anything. And I knew how to get to that doctor's office, and it was a different doctor. So like that in my head made me feel better. Like the doctor that delivered Allie was no longer there. So I thought, oh, okay, it's a different doctor, it'll be okay. But it would be, I'd be delivering like at the same hospital. And I need somebody that took Medi-Cal. I was very depressed, and that is where I went. And he was not at all a kind doctor. In fact, I remember like my first few visits in, he was telling me that I had to definitely get my tubes tied. You're only allowed to have 2 C-sections. I can't have any more kids. Just all this crazy BS basically. Also with Parker, I did not have a chance to lose any of that 80 pounds that I had packed on with Allie. And because I was still depressed and pregnant, I put on like 60 more pounds. Like I got really big, really fast. I was really heavy. I was very uncomfortable. I didn't want to do anything, go anywhere. Like with Allie when I was pregnant, I wanted to show off my belly and just be out there, and I was super excited. With Parker, I didn't. I just wanted to sit and watch TV. And well, I mean, and plus I had a baby still to take care of. Like we had our little schedule where me and Allie would wake up at like 8 o'clock, I'd feed her breakfast, we'd watch Blue's Clues, and then we would take a nap together. I was still a good mom, I think, to her. There was just a lot going on. So I got really heavy with Parker, very uncomfortable. Gosh, I resembled a house. So long story short, so my pregnancy, I was still healthy with Parker's pregnancy, except for around 7 months, I did go into preterm labor. So I had to go to the hospital, and actually at that time my ex was home on one of his days off. He took me in and they had to give me shots to stop my contractions, and I had to be on bed rest for a few weeks, and they said it was due to stress, which it probably was. And then after that everything was okay. I carried on full term. They delivered me a week before my due date. He was born November 8th, and I think his due date was actually on Halloween. So yeah, so okay, by this time, right before Parker's birth, we had basically split up. Like we were done. He was basically living somewhere else with somebody else, but I was asking him to come home for the birth, and he was telling me, I remember the day before I had Parker, I said, you're coming, right? Because it was planned. So like he knew the date, and he told me no, he couldn't get the time off. So I obviously I don't believe that. So that was hard. Anyway, okay, so November 8th comes, and my mom and my sister and my dad took me to the hospital. I don't remember who was watching Allie. Maybe, I don't remember who was watching Allie. I don't know, somebody, obviously I didn't leave my kid alone. So one of my family members was watching Allie when I went to the hospital. Oh, maybe it was my nephew Lauren, because he was older. Anyway, so I got to the hospital, and I was very emotional because I just really wanted my ex-husband to be there. He had even picked out the name Parker. So the name Parker, he was a big Spider-Man fan, and he actually wanted to name, when we found out he was a boy, he wanted to name him Peter Parker, and he was very excited when we found out it was a boy. So like he was there with me at the ultrasound and everything. Actually, no, he wasn't there at the ultrasound with me. It was my sister. He wasn't there. He was gone. And then when he came home, I told him to guess what it was, and he guessed girl, and I said no, actually it's a boy. And I remember him very excited, and he wanted to name him Peter Parker after Spider-Man. And I really loved the name Andrew, which was his middle name. I always wanted, like, oh, we'll call him Andy, it'd be super cute. I wanted Andrew Parker. I said, let's compromise Andrew Parker, but he was like, no, I really like Parker for the first name, actually. And back then it wasn't that popular. This is back 2006. So I was like, okay, so he became Parker Andrew, and that's how Parker got his name. So back to my delivery date, I'm having my C-section. My sister ended up going with me, so they gave her the scrubs and everything. They wheeled me into the operating room. I was still holding on to hope that my ex was gonna show up. So, oh my gosh, Parker, okay, so when they gave me the spinal tap, you know, hug the nurse and they shoot that big long needle into your spine, and it's ouch. So they got me numbed up, and they had the sheet put up, and they called my sister in, and she's holding my hand and getting ready to get started. And the doctor, his name was Dr. Rizvi, starts poking me, because they poke you with the instruments to make sure that you're numb before they start surgery. And he said, "Can you feel this?" And I said, "Yes, yes, I can feel you poking me." And the anesthesiologist is looking down at me, and he's like, "How do you feel it? Like, do you feel it like a little bit, like a tug, like when you're at the dentist?" And I was like, "What does the dentist have to do with right now?" And I said, "No, I feel him poking me, like I feel it a lot." And then I was like, "I really feel it, because I don't know what these doctors' problems were. Can't talk English. But they decided to go ahead and he decided to go ahead and start cutting me open. I was not numb. I was not numb at all. So I felt that knife, or the whatever, scalpel, whatever it's called, I felt it go into me. And my sister, I don't really remember. I remember there being pain. I thought I screamed, but my sister said I didn't. She said it was more like a silent scream. She said my eyes got really big, and then my face went totally like gray, like white. And she said then they put the mask on me, and I was out. Like that fast, they put me under. So Parker was the only baby of mine that I did not see like being pulled out, like come out. My sister did. She saw him being pulled out. They got him out really quick. They cut me long ways again. They went through the same incision, and then they kicked her out. I don't know why they kicked her out. They just told her to leave, and I was completely out for all of it. Yeah, so they began cutting. I told them that I wasn't numb. I could still feel. It was horrific. I don't even know why I kept having kids, because you would think after like a trauma like that, you'd be like, no, I'm good. But anyway. I woke up in the hospital room, no baby, no family, no ex-husband. There was nobody. Don't know how long I'd been out, no nurse, no anything. I was like, what the heck is going on? So I remember like reaching for the phone like above the bed and getting it off the thing and calling my dad's cell phone, and my dad was like hysterical, because they kicked my sister out, didn't tell my family anything. They didn't know if the baby was okay. They didn't know if I was okay. Nothing. And they've been waiting for over 2 hours trying to get information. This hospital was really sucky. Again, I was depressed. I should have never went back there. Anyway, so my family came into the room, and my mom to this day says that she said that she still gets like emotional when she thinks back to that memory. She walked into the hospital room, and she said I was just looking past all of them, because I was looking for my ex-husband, because I was certain that he was kidding and that he was gonna show up. Like, I knew we had our problems, but I thought he would come, and he didn't. And then I was worried because I didn't know where the heck my baby was or what was going on. So finally, a nurse came in, and they said that Parker's blood sugar was really high, and so they had to hook him up to an IV. Oh, this hospital was so stupid. So I didn't even get to just hold him or see him for like 4 hours. They finally brought him into me, and he's got this little like IV in him, little chubby little cheeks, and he was all red, and he was so cute. He was so cute. And like the pictures, like all I'll see if I can find some. I think they're all in a photo album, so I don't know if I can post, but the pictures of me in the hospital, like holding him for the first time, like my face, like you could just tell like the emotions, like, because I was so happy to be his mother and to meet him, but there was just so much going on, so much hurt. Okay, like I knew this was gonna be hard. There was just a lot of hurt and happiness, like just everything, like plus you're hormonal and already. I just had this sweet, perfect boy. My sister, oh my gosh. I don't know what I would do without my sister. She stayed the night with me, both nights at the hospital. Again, because of the way I was cut, it was hard. I heard it was hard to heal. She changed his first diaper. She brought him to me. She did everything. She slept on a chair. Her and my mom and my dad were just my rock during that time. I remember the next day my mom brought in Allie to meet Parker, and it was so cute. She was only barely 15 months old when he was born. I just remember she was a baby herself, looking down at him, and she already was talking a lot by then, and she was, "This is my brother, this is Parker," and she was like just so excited to have a baby brother. So Parker latched right away, so I had no problems breastfeeding him. I was very proud of that. He was such an easy baby, and you know what? He was my easiest baby. Him and Kennedy were my easiest babies, which by the grace of God, I think God was like giving you easy babies, because at the time in my life I was such a mess. Like I don't know if I would have done if he had been like a colicky baby like Wesley. He was just easy. Like I'd feed him, he'd sleep, change stuff. I mean, he was just so laid back, and he's still like that. He's a very laid back kid. And you know, of course I had a lot of help from my mom and my sister and my niece and stuff, my nephews. Like my family was a very, very big support to me. A week after Parker was born, my ex did come back, and we signed our divorce paperwork. My mom paid for it, and that's another story if you guys want to know it. It's really hard for me to talk about. Like I said, I go back and forth sharing it because he can't defend himself. I did wrong in the marriage too. I mean, like I said, we kept breaking up and getting back together. It just, for me, after we signed those papers and he left, and that was it. I have not seen him since. So I don't know. No matter what problems we had, he could have, I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, Parker was easy baby. I only breastfed him for 2 months though, because I went back to work full time. I had to go back to work. I remember thinking, oh my gosh, how am I gonna raise I was a single mom. How am I gonna do this? When Parker was a month old, Adam, my husband now, because we were really good friends, he actually came. He was living in Northern California and I was in Southern. He drove down to see us. That was the first time I met Cole, my stepson. So for that whole year, Adam was back and forth, but we weren't dating yet. Like, we didn't admit that we liked each other. We were friends. Parker was a very easy baby. My laid back kid. He's 14 now. Can't believe it. I talked longer with Allie just because there was more like of a backstory, like leading up to me, you know, wanting kids or not wanting kids, like that whole thing. But it did take me longer to heal with Parker, but because I'd already had a kid, I also made myself get up faster, if that makes sense, like, which actually helps you heal when you have a C-section, to get up and move around. With Allie, I probably sat too. I mean, they made me get up with her and walk around, but then when I got back to my dad's, I just didn't want to move, which makes it worse. So with Parker, because I had another kid to take care of, I had to get up. I had to. I didn't have a choice. And so I think because of that, I healed a little bit faster with him. And then I think breastfeeding shrunk my uterus back quicker, and I healed quicker. But I bled forever with him, like for like 6 months, like not heavy, like nothing like that, but it just was so annoying. And I lost weight, like I lost weight quick. A lot of it was stress. I did lose weight between the breastfeeding and stress. I lost weight quick. Not anything with the eating disorder, I think just life. The weight did come off fairly quickly with Parker. So leading up to that, like I said, Adam was coming down to see me, you know, not even once a month, it was probably every other month. It was almost a year before I realized, I knew he liked me, before I realized that I felt the same about him. Because it's funny, Adam's not my type, but I'm gonna try to save the me and Adam story for Valentine's Day. But basically, I ended up moving up north with him. And that will be the third pregnancy story, because that is where Miss Tiffany comes to play. So that is Parker's birth story. It is an emotional one. It was kind of humiliating, like my second day in the hospital, they sent a social worker in. Like, why? Like, why? Just because I didn't have a husband or a boyfriend there, like I need a social worker? Ugh, I never understood that. I guess they were just trying to offer support. I don't know. I will insert a baby picture of him. He was almost 10 pounds, you guys. He was a big freaking baby. He was like 9'7". He was big. He was a big boy. Him and Wesley were big boys. He was my biggest. He was so cute. Oh my gosh, you guys, he was so cute. The dimples and the big eyes. Love him so much. Still do. He still has those big eyes and that dimple. All right, that is Parker's birth story. If you guys want to comment and share your stories with me, I'd love to hear them. So stay tuned for part 3, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Chicken tendies.